All right, everybody. We are going to go over each one of these questions that I had on your quiz today so that you can see exactly how each one has worked. And you need to get a piece of paper and do them with me and turn them in with complete work. And I will give you some credit back on your quiz. So here we go. We are using the distributive property to remove the parentheses, and the distributive property simply takes this -2, that is the multiplier on the front, and takes it to each one of the terms after it. So -2 times -3w cubed is positive 6w cubed. -2 times 3 is a -6. -2 times a -3x squared is a positive 6x squared. Okay, and that's all you had to do. Number 2, solve for w. Most of you got this right. Since we have w joined with 4 with a division sign, we're going to multiply by 4. So we're going to have, sometimes it's easier just to rewrite this so it doesn't look so weird. W divided by 4 times 4. We're just going to multiply both sides by 4. And that is using the multiplication property of equality. So now this is going to cancel out, and we just have w equals 12. And you can see that if you put the w back in, that 12 divided by 4 is 3. Question 3. Keisha bought some books. She spent a total of $58 after a discount of $7 off of her total purchase. Each book cost $5. How many books did she buy? Write an equation that could be used to answer the question above. First, choose the appropriate form. Then fill in the blanks with the numbers 58, 7, and 5. Let B represent the number of books. Okay, then we're going to solve the equation in part A to find the number of books. Okay, so first of all, let's think. She spent $58 altogether. Okay, so $58 would be this right here at the end, wouldn't it? So I'm saying this ought to be $58 right here. The total cost. We're making a cost equation. Okay, now if each book is $5, then the number of books times $5 will give us how much she spent on the books. However, a discount is going to be a minus. Now we could make that a -7 plus a -7, but it would probably be more appropriate to use this equation down here. So 5b minus 7 is 58. Okay, now I always read my problem twice before I finalize my answer. She bought some books. She spent a total of $58, which is her total cost, after a discount of $7 off. So she's going to not have to pay the $7 to get the $58. Each book is $5. So 5 times the number of books will be how much she was charged, but then she had a discount. So this is the correct equation. Because of the discount, we would use this one. So remember that all subtraction can be written with integers. So we could have said 5b plus a -7, but they were intending for us to use this one because it had the minus already given for you. Okay, so now we have to take this equation, and we did use 58 and 7 and 5. And now solve the equation that we just came up with to find the number of books. So remember, we want to get b by itself. We want to add 7 to each side to get the variable term by itself. 58 plus 7 is 65. And 65, I've already taken the 7 away, is 5b. So now what we're going to do is 65 divided by 5. 5 goes into 6 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. Subtract 15. 5 into 15 is 3. And my answer is 13 bucks. Okay. Question 4. Solve the inequality for V. All right, so here's my V term. I want to get that by itself. So we're going to subtract the 11 and subtract the 11 from the other side. Now your book calls that the subtraction property of equality. Okay, so here's your 11's going out for W. For V. Keep the sign the same. 39 minus 11 is 28. And we know we're going to divide by 4 and divide by 4 to get the V term all by itself. So we have V and 7 on the other side. But that is not written correctly because we never put the variable on the right. We always put the variable on the left. So we're going to switch this whole thing around in the mirror, and we're going to get V. The sign switches to 7. V is greater than or equal to 7. Now this one did not give you a graph to do. However, we usually do try to put a graph on a inequality. So let's make one. Here's your 7 way over here. And V is greater than or equal to 7. Since it's greater than or equal to, we're going to use the closed off circle. And V is greater than or equal to 7. So that would be a good graph. Question 5. Now, I went ahead and did this early just so that I could draw it out very nicely. When you're looking at something like this, you see input, output, input, output. Okay? Now, one thing that you needed to notice was it says it is a linear function. Because it is a linear function, it is following our pattern, y equals mx plus b. Since we know it has to follow that pattern, this job becomes very simple. Because the 1 is the x that's going in. 1 is x. Then we get m plus b is 2. M plus b equals 2. Then for the second input and output, we have 2 being the x. So 2 times m plus b is 0. 2 times m plus b is 0. Then we look at the third input and output. 3 becomes the x. 3 times m is 3m plus b is negative 2. Now, what I want you to note is what's happening to our output. 2, 0, negative 2. When our input is just climbing by 1 here, we have 2, 0, negative 2. Our output is dropping by 2 each time. That means that our slope is a negative 2. So if our slope is a negative 2, we plug in a negative 2 right here. Negative 2 plus what would give us 2? And the answer would be 4. So now I check. Will it work if I put negative 2 and 4 in this one? Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. It works. Will it work if I put negative 2 and 4 in this one? Negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2. And it works. So we have our equation. Y, let's make that a Y. Y equals, remember, y is our output, equals -2. Now, they told us to use the input of n instead of x. So instead of negative mx plus b, we're going to use -2n plus b. Okay? And there is the equation that makes it all work. Simplify. Most of you got this right. Since they are like terms, you're just going to add 5.1 and 2.8 together. 9 decimal. Remember, always line up your decimals on addition and subtraction. 7.9x. I think most of you got that one right. Okay, now this one's a little bit small, so I'm going to see if I can get it up a little bit. There we go. The equation w over 3 plus 7 equals -4 is solved in several steps below. For each step, choose the reason that best justifies it. You did not have to solve this one. They were showing you the steps here. All you had to do was go and say, okay, what's happening between here and here that I need to tell the name of, okay? So w over 3 plus 7 equals -4. That was the original problem. So they called that given equation, and they gave that to you. Then the next one, what did they do? What is different between here and the second step over here? W over 3 plus 7 is the same, minus 7. -4 is the same, minus 7. So aren't they just subtracting 7 from both sides? That's all that's happening. That's called the subtraction property of equality. That was the answer to that one. Then we move on to the next step, and it says w over 3 plus, and look at that. That just disappears, and they leave w over 3. Over here on the right, -4 minus 7 is -11. So all they're doing in this step is simplifying. The next one, they take w over 3 and it turns into 3 times w over 3. They take the -11 and it turns into -11 times 3. Aren't they just multiplying both sides by 3? Multiplication property of equality. And then if we cancel the 3 and the 3, we get the w. If we multiply the -11 times the 3, we get -33. We're just simplifying again. Okay, so there, get that back down to the right size, I think about there. Okay, so that one was number 7. Number 8, Isabel received an $80 gift card for a coffee store. She used it in buying some coffee that cost $8.76 per pound. After buying the coffee, she had $27.44 left on her card. How many pounds of coffee did she buy? Okay, so first of all, she started with $80, and she spent so many pounds of coffee. Okay, so we're going to just say so many pounds of coffee. And each pound of coffee cost $8.76. And when she got done, she had $27.44 left. Okay, so now let's put a variable in where we have our box. So we're going to erase the box, and let's just say we're going to call this pounds of coffee. Okay, so we'll just say P. Okay, P for pounds. So now we're going to have 80 minus 8.76 P equals 27.44. Okay, so now we are going to try to get the p, which is our variable, by itself. So let's get rid of the 80. Minus 80 minus 80. I'm going to go ahead and put 0.00 on this side because we want to line up our decimals. So here, this is going to go out, and we're going to have negative 8.76p equals, now, positive, negative. We're going to subtract them. I'm going to put the 80 on the top so I can subtract them. But then I'm going to take the sign of the big guy, which is negative. So minus 27.44. Okay, so we're going to subtract 7, make it a 10, and then a 9, make it a 10, and then a 9, make it a 10. 10 take away 4 is 6. 9 take away 4 is 5. Oops. Decimal stays in spot. 9 take away 7 is 2. 7 take away 2 is 5. And we're going to give it a minus sign because that's the bigger of the two. He's pulling stronger in the tug of war, isn't he? So let's go ahead and put negative 52.56 here. Okay, so now we're going to divide both sides by, divide this side by negative 8.76. And this is not going to stay on the slide because I ran off the slide there. Mine divided by a negative 8.76. This is going to cancel, and we're going to get P equals. Now remember, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So now all we have to do is this math right here. So let's come over here and do 52.56 divided by 8.76. Now, since we're dividing by a decimal, I'm going to move the divisor decimal over 2 and move the dividend decimal over 2 to match that. And now we're ready to divide. Now, we're going to call this 876. It won't go into 5. It won't go into 52. It won't go into 526. But it will go into 5,256. So we're going to estimate by saying about how many times will 8 go into 52. And when we do that, we say, well, 8 times 7 is 56. So why don't we try a 6? Okay, because it's not going to be 7. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 7 is 42, plus 3 is 45. 6 times 8 is 48, plus 4 is 52, and it comes out exactly to be 6 pounds of coffee. Okay, so the answer is 6 pounds. We'll go ahead and write pounds with the LB there. Okay? Now, LaShonda is pumping water into an aquarium at a rate of 11 liters per minute. Okay, so she's pumping water into the aquarium. The aquarium has 34 liters of water in it before she started. Her goal is given by 11x plus 34 is less than or equal to 254, where x is the number of minutes she pumped water into the aquarium. Complete the parts below. Solve the inequality. They gave you the inequality. We don't have to come up with that. They gave it to you. And graph the solution on the number line below. Okay, so here we go. We're going to solve this by getting rid of the 34. I'm going to see if I can make it just a little bit bigger. Get rid of the 34. by subtraction. It's joined by addition, so we undo it with subtraction. Minus 34 on both sides, which cancels those. We have 11x. And then we have less than or equal to 254 minus 34 is 220. Oh, nice numbers. Because we're going to divide this one by 11. We're going to divide this one by 11. And we're going to get x is less than or equal to 20. Okay, so there's our answer. And now we're going to, since it's less than or equal to, the equal makes us have a solid circle, closed-in circle, and on 20, and then it's less than, so it's going off to the left. Now, it says choose and complete the statement that best describes the solution. Okay, it says to meet the goal, the aquarium will have at most blank liters of water in it. This will take at least blank minutes. To meet the goal, the aquarium will have at most blank liters of water in it, and this will take at most blank minutes. To meet the goal, the aquarium will have at least blank liters of water in it. This will take at most blank minutes. Okay, so when we're looking at this, we're going to say x, which is the number of minutes. X is less than or equal to 20. Okay, that means if x goes over 20, it doesn't work. Okay, so we would say x has at most. So we're looking for an answer that has at most. Okay, so this one has at most, this one has at most, but this one has at least, so we know this one is not right. Okay, then it says that we're going to have liters of water in it. Okay, so it says that the liters of water must be less than 254. Okay, so that means at most 254. So we're looking for another at most. So we're looking for this option right here in the middle. So it's going to have at most 254 liters and at most 20 minutes. Okay, it just needs some careful reading on that one. Okay, number 10. Determine whether the given terms are like terms. If so, combine the like terms and be sure to enter the appropriate unit. 11 bananas and 8 bananas, those are like terms. And then they said we're going to do a subtraction problem. 11 bananas minus 8 bananas is 3 bananas. Okay, so what they're doing here, usually when we say combine, we're thinking adding together. But here they're using combine, meaning we can do the math with them. Okay, so it is going to be 3 bananas because you're not really adding there. 12, cats 3 days. Those are not like terms. We cannot do math with those. We cannot do addition and subtraction. 10 ounces, 6 ounces. Those are like terms. 10 ounces plus 6 ounces is 16 ounces. And remember, OZ is the abbreviation for ounce. I'm not sure how they got that out of OUNCES, but that's okay. It's right. Okay?
Does it have something to do with the Wizard of Oz?
Maybe the Wizard of Oz, Mr. Aldrich. Okay, so look at question 11. It says solve for x. Now, not very many of you even tried this one. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do it very simply using your properties. What if we just got rid of this negative 6 on the bottom altogether by multiplying both sides by a negative 6? That's what I would do. Just get rid of it altogether. Negative 6 times negative 9, negative times negative is a positive 54, equals, oh, that didn't right. And now, since I'm getting rid of the negative 6, I'm just going to have x plus 43. I'm going to subtract the 43 from both sides. And we have 11 on this side equals x. There you go. Now, I am a little OCD about this. I always put my x on the left, which is just a good practice. Number 12, BC is a distance between B and C. That's what BC stands for. Very often you will see it look like that with a little line over it. Okay, but that is the distance between them. So, negative 13 minus 8.6 is going to basically same sign. I'm going to end up adding those together. That's the same as plus and minus. So I'm adding like signs, which means I'm going to get negative 21.6. But since it's a distance, we're going to take the absolute value, which is 21.6. Okay, we don't worry about pluses and minuses when we're dealing with distance away. Okay, it's 21.6 steps from B to C. Now we're going to do from A to B. Okay, so we're going to say negative 18.7 minus a negative 13. Okay, so minus a negative is addition of a positive. So we're adding opposite signs, which means we subtract the two absolute values. So we have, well, let's go ahead and put our 0.0. And then 7 and 5. 5.7. It would be negative, but we'll go ahead and put negative, and then we'll put the absolute value because we're talking about the distance, which is 5.7 steps. And the last problem, complete each number sentence by choosing greater than, less than, or equal. When I do this math on the left-hand side, 14 take away 7 is 7, plus 1 is 8. 14 take away, now I have to do this first. 7 plus 1 is 8, 14 take away 8 is 6. The sign is going to be a greater than sign. Here, 4 plus 2 must happen first. And 11 take away 6 is 5. 11 take away 6 is 5. We'll put it right there so we know where it is. 11 take away 4 is 7. Plus 2 is 9. So the sign goes the other way. It is a less than sign. 5 is less than 9. And 11 plus 10 is 21. And 16 plus 5 is 21. So the two are equal to each other. Now, remember that you can go back through this PowerPoint and this video as many times as you need to copy these problems on paper, and you should turn these problems into me on Friday. This is your first homework. Very shortly, I will send you a screenshot of your progress on your first test, your pretest, and you will know which sections you need to begin working for homework. Some of you have very little homework. Most of you have some homework to do. This should be done by Friday, or at least greatly done, so that you can start taking your quizzes after we get your homework graded and you don't end up having a lot of pileup. Some of you, quite a few of you, still have a Chapter 4 test and maybe 1 or 2 quizzes that you need to also be prepared to take on Friday. So, Friday will be a work day. Come prepared to do work. Have your homework done so that you can take the quizzes. All right, this is Mrs. A, and may God bless your day. Bye.